Hello everyone, this is Farzana for Farzana's Law, and thank you so much for joining me today in this brand new video where I'll be sharing with you all the top 10 habits for a successful Ramadan. So if you're interested in this kind of content, make sure to like, share and subscribe because I like to post this kind of content on a weekly basis, making sure that I'm making your life in a better way and also making you more spiritually, personally and professionally a better person, because that's something that I work on myself every single day, trying to make sure that I am achieving my goals and making sure that I'm inspiring you in some way or another to do the same as well. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but it just means that I'm type of a person who is really addicted to personal growth, and that's basically something that I want also people around me, people who watch me to do or have a similar kind of a mindset basically. So let's get started with today's video, but before I do that, make sure to actually check out all of my links to all my products, courses and services and everything in between. It's always everything linked in the description box below. So let's get started with the first tip on how to really have a successful Ramadan. And the first tip that I would personally give you all is making sure that you're having intentional goal setting. This is very important because you need to define what are your spiritual, physical, and personal goals. And this could exactly mean, for example, finishing the Quran or having a fitness routine or giving charity every single day or every other day or once a week. It doesn't matter. Make sure that whatever fits your lifestyle, define your spiritual, physical, and personal goals. This is very crucial because as much as you would want to, I'm saying this in a very blunt way, some of us take Ramadan for granted, and obviously people who have passed away or they cannot have or do Ramadan anymore or cannot perform this spiritual act of actually fasting for the month of Ramadan. Obviously those people cannot do that. They obviously take into value how much important Ramadan is. But some of us who are very healthy individuals and we have everything going on for our lives, obviously some of us can actually take this particular month for granted and not really have a set plan and goal system on how to really achieve good healthy habits and have a good healthy goal setting system basically. So it's very important that you're not wasting this Ramadan again, and also just making sure that you are setting your goals down and making sure that you are having plans on what you want to achieve and etc., because that's really importantly crucial. Because if you do not have this, and obviously that means that you're basically just wasting another Ramadan, which another person who could have had the opportunity would have taken it more valuably basically. Number 2 is optimize suhoor, also known as pre-dawn meal. Eat a balanced meal with complex carbs, healthy fats and protein to maintain energy. I'm a kind of a person who really needs protein in my diet because I'm a type of a person who gets hungry very, very quickly. And obviously when I'm hungry, I basically get the worst mood swings. I get very angry and I'm a type of a person who's really grumpy as well. So it's very important for me to make sure that during the month of Ramadan, I actually plan on how to have more protein in my diet, because with protein in my diet means that I'm actually staying fuller for longer, which means I'm not reaching out for food really quickly, or I'm not thinking about food 24/7 basically, especially when I'm at work. It doesn't really make sense. So it's making sure that you are having a good optimized suhoor and have a pre-dawn meal that is really healthy, really full of good healthy fats and protein, which is essentially very, very important to maintain a good long-lasting energy for the whole day. Number 3 is having a structured daily schedule. This is very important because when I was in school, for example, it was very important for me to make sure that my routine was in such a way that I was basically benefiting my personal life, spiritual life, and also my study routines as well, because I was also having exams at the time when I was actually fasting. So it was very important for me to make sure that I was having a good set routine. So depending on your schedule and what age you are in and what kind of a work you're doing right now, it's very important that you're creating a daily set routine that you're basically going to follow for the next 30 days during the month of Ramadan. Very important. Especially try to fit in as much as dhikr as much as possible, as much as istighfar, as much as prayer, as much as Quran recitation, because those 30 days are very valuable when it comes to your spiritual world, more than your earth world, if I'm being honest with you. So it's very important that you are allocating as much as prayer time, Quran recitation time, reflection time, work, and also rest, because you don't want to be overburdening yourself and then after 30 days of Ramadan you feel like that you basically became this monster that then never got any rest or break. So it's very important that you're having a structured daily routine. Number 4 is having a mindful time management skills, or performing good mindful time management in practice in general. Minimize distractions like excessive screen time, focus on meaningful activities, which again goes back to number 3, which is all about having prayer time, Quran recitation time, reflection, work and rest. You want to minimize as much as possible watching excessive series, dramas, movies, listening to music, and watching basically useless things on the screen, on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, because the more you spend time on those, that means you're not doing a lot of meaningful activities, which includes a lot of spirituality. For example, dhikr, istighfar, etc. So it's very important that you are actually maintaining a good, healthy lifestyle, especially during the month of Ramadan, but pushing towards more spiritual activities, basically. That's really, really important. So try to basically minimize the distraction and get on with your spiritual life more. Number 5 is consistent Quran connection. Very important. If you're type of a person who unfortunately does not really get enough time to actually read the Quran every single day, make sure that you are actually connecting with the Quran, especially during the month of Ramadan, where you can actually break down the Quran readings after maybe each prayer to complete it by the end of Ramadan. Some people like to start before Ramadan reading the Quran, or maybe they read 1 page per day, and in that way that basically helps them actually finishing the Quran on time just the day before Eid. So it's very important that you are having consistent Quran connection, because in that way you're basically going to be connecting it to, because the more you read Quran, the more you're going to understand the religion that you're basically part of, and then we'll be able to actually abide by those rules and regulations and the way of life that is the most healthiest, the most halal way according to what the Quran has said, because those words are written by God. So it's very important that you are following those, and you will see how you feel so much better about yourself, especially after the month of Ramadan, that it actually compels you to actually follow those good habits even after Ramadan as well. Number 6 is maximizing dua and dhikr. Keep a list of personal duas and engage in constant remembrance, also known as dhikr. This is essentially very important. If you're type of a person who is craving for something really special in your life, for example, marriage or a dream job or a dream college or university that you want to go to, or a dream career, make sure that these 30 days are a very big priority for you when it comes to dua, and making sure you're making as much as dua as possible. Because the more you make dua in this particular month, the more it's likely going to be accepted, especially during the month of Ramadan is when you should be doing as much as worship as possible. If you have any wishes, if you have any dreams, anything, sure that you're actually making as much as dua on this particular month. And hence why I highly encourage for everyone to actually follow these habits literally at least, I would say 10 days before Ramadan begins, so you kind of have an idea of what you want to expect out of this particular Ramadan coming up. So keep a list of personal duas, and you will see how this changes your life completely. Number 7 is healthy iftar practices. This is essentially a very important way on how you're actually going to be shaping your next day Ramadan, because starting and breaking your fast with some dates and water, and avoid overeating and including hydrating foods when you're actually breaking your fast is essentially very important to make sure that you're not feeling overly tired basically because of the next day you have to fast and you have to do all these things, blah blah blah. So it's very important that you are starting your meals. Your meals are very, very important during the month of Ramadan. You want to make sure that you're not overeating, you're not eating too much junk food, you're only eating things which are good for you. Of course, that's very easier said than done, I'm not going to lie to you guys, but it's very important because, for example, as I mentioned to you all, it's very important for me to make sure personally that I'm having healthy fats, healthy proteins in my diet, especially during the month of Ramadan, because I get very cranky really quickly, and obviously that means that I'm not going to be performing my best at work, in my relationships, and also in my personal life, professional, on my YouTube. So it's very important for me to make sure that my diet is really, really important, especially during the month of Ramadan, because then you also have more energy to do a lot more prayers, a lot more dhikr, a lot more worship, which is actually very rewarding during the month of Ramadan. So make sure that however you eat during the month of Ramadan, it actually reflects how much you're going to be able to do worship, how much energy you're going to have to do extra prayers, the nafil prayers, also known as the voluntary prayers, or even tahajjud prayers, whatever that might be, whatever your goals are in the month of Ramadan. The food that you eat really does correlate and affects how much you're going to be able to perform during the month of Ramadan. So it's very important that you are eating good things, healthy things, and delicious things as well. Of course, I'm not saying that now ban yourself from sugar or not have any ice cream or samosa or pakora, whatever that might be. It just means that you're having those in moderation and not affecting your mood swings or your energy levels. Number 8 is Taraweeh commitment. Participate in nightly prayers at the mosque or home, fostering spiritual growth, which is essentially very important, especially month of Ramadan. As I mentioned to you all before, prayers are never going to get wasted. So it's very important that during the month of Ramadan, you make sure you make the most out of the Taraweeh prayers, especially if you have a mosque nearby, go to the mosque and pray. Or if you're somebody who has a mosque which is really truly far away and you can't really go, then obviously at home prayers are really nice as well, because you get to perform with your family, and also that creates a deep connection with everyone. Everybody's in a good mood, everybody's positive, everybody's willing to make and do more and more good deeds basically. So So it's essentially very important that you are performing as many Taraweeh prayers as much as possible, whether they might be 4, 8, 12, 20, some of us, it doesn't matter how many you do. It's all about the quality, not the quantity. Very important note. Number 9 is charity and good deeds. Plan acts of kindness and schedule regular donations, even small ones, consistently. Be that kind of a person who is planning on how much charity you're going to give this month. Be that kind of a person who wants to do more acts of service to others, so then you get more and more rewards and more good deeds in your bank account. So it's very important that you are actually planning all kinds of acts of kindness, and this doesn't have to be something that you're doing that is extraordinary. For example, you don't have to necessarily give £500 every single day to a new charitable organization. It just means that doing some things which are both monetary and non-monetary as well. It doesn't have to be always monetary, because I believe, let me be honest with you, monetary charities are much more easier to do than non-charitable deeds, because I believe that people are more keen to just give the money and yeah, that's my job done. But when it comes to maybe helping with the dishes or planning a meal or cooking a meal or anything like that, those take a lot more energy and a lot more effort. So people are more likely to do charitable good deeds rather than non-charitable good deeds. But in this Ramadan, I urge all of you to do more non-charitable good deeds, because those will bring help and assistance. But see how your mother feels when you do a non-charitable good deed for her, or your father, or your siblings, or your in-laws, or your colleagues even. So it's very important to do that. I highly encourage for more people to do more non-charitable good deeds during the month of Ramadan. Number 10 is self-reflection and gratitude. End each day reflecting on accomplishments and areas to improve, practicing gratitude, which I could not agree more, because I believe that my life purpose is to be as grateful as possible every single day for all the things that Allah has provided me with, whether they might be good or bad. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, whatever Allah has planned for me is the blessed plan, because he's the best planner of all planners of all of us, because he's the one who has created us. He knows exactly what is bad for us, what is good for us. So it's very important that we are practicing gratitude every single day, especially for the fact that most of us, if not some of us, are actually unfortunately are not going to be experiencing Ramadan in the same way as last year or the year before that. Some of us unfortunately became sick and they cannot actually perform the Ramadan fasting anymore, or because of due to some personal reasons, whatever that might be. So it's very important that we are very grateful for the fact that we are healthy people, we are good people, we are able to actually perform the Ramadan fasting, inshallah, this year and all the years to come by. And may Allah bless us all for the fact that He has given us this opportunity to be able to actually fast for the sake of Him. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, then please do like, share, and subscribe, because I like to make this content on a weekly basis as much as possible, because I like to grow myself both spiritually, personally, and academically, and personally and professionally as well, because that's basically something that I like to improve on myself and try to make sure that I'm inspiring someone out there in the world to be able to do the same. And other than that, I'll see you guys in my next one.